Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to this week's Parashat Pointers. We are very excited that we've been getting, Baruch Hashem, so many beautiful dedications. Thank you so much, those who have dedicated to the weekly dissemination of this Devar Torah to many people. Thank you so much. We're in Parashat Re'eh. Re'eh Anochi Noten Lifnechem Hayom Beracha Uklala. Hashem says, this day I have put before you blessing and curse. There's so much to talk about here. And the Mefarshim, the commentators, talk about what it exactly means, the blessing and the curse. The Pasuk continues and said the actual doing of a mitzvah is a blessing itself. But we're going to focus on something else here. And I think it's something very important for us when we raise our families and we have our children around us. And it's something that we maybe don't think about too much. We are blessed to be in a most magnificent world. This world is filled with everything, so much beauty. You have the majestic mountains, you have waterfalls, you have trees, you have flowers, oceans, beaches. There's a spectacle of rain as I'm experiencing right now as I'm underneath here. There's wind as we saw the last few days, the winds that could come. There's lightning and thunder. Every day there's babies that are being born. There's weddings that are taking place. There's people that are healed from sickness. There are people that are seeing success in business. There are spiritual achievements every single day. Men and women joining classes, committing to Torah observance, growing in their closeness to Hashem. There's food, there's shelter, there's clothing. Everything's plentiful all around us. I could go on, and there would not be enough time if I just kept on talking about all the wonderful gifts and beauty that's all around us. Yet, depression is on the rise. I got the following information from the World Health Organization. The total estimated number of people living with depression worldwide has increased by almost 20%, to be exact, 18.4%, just between the years of 2005 and 2015. You know how many people that is? 322 million people are suffering from depression. Now, depression means you're not functioning, but there's a little bit of depression. Who knows what the numbers are? How could it be? Such a world, so much beauty. Look at this. Look at these. The green, the trees. There's so much around us. It's magnificent and beautiful. How could a person be depressed? They're breathing, they're seeing. The answer is that there's an overwhelming focus out there in the world, in the news media, on what's wrong. You never listen to the news and hear anything good. There's problems in the environment. There's issues with wars. People not getting along. There's an economic tailspin. There are people who are sick, the underprivileged who doesn't have, and you just hear it all day long. There's a story of Rabbi Avigdor Miller. I'm sure you've heard it, but it's worthwhile to repeat it many times. Zecher Sadik Rivka. His grandson came home and saw Rabbi Avigdor Miller with his head in the tub. All of a sudden he sees him take his head out of the water and just breathe in. His grandson like, what in the world is going on here? Like Rabbi Miller said, the air is so wonderful. I kept on hearing how the air is polluted and the air is no good and it's not good and the air is bad and it's dirty. I lost my appreciation for air. I said, how could I do this? I must deprive myself of air so I can appreciate it once again. A person has to train themselves every single day to focus on the blessings and not the curses. Re'eh anochi. I am giving you Noten lifnechem, I'm giving you a choice to make. Do you want to focus on what's good or what's bad? The blessing or the curse? What's going right or what's going wrong? I one time was privileged to be sitting right next to a big Rebbe, a Hasidic Rebbe, as he ate his Friday night meal. I'll never forget it my entire life. A big piece of fish, carp, this big came out, and I saw the head right in front of me with a huge eyeball. Actually, there were two eyeballs. The Rebbe went, he took his two fingers, and he plucked them down, and he ripped out this white eyeball. He looked at it, and he ate it. In my life, I never witnessed something like that. I was dizzy. I was in shock. I got to be honest with you. And I spoke up. I'm like, what in the world just happened? Why would you eat that? And he said to me something that has never left me. He said, a human being, they wake up every day, and what do they focus on? Like the human eyeball. There's so much going on here. But the middle and the center is black. Human being wakes up in the morning and focuses on the black, on what's negative. I spoke about it a little bit this week in the daily Hizuk. But in this, I want to just speak about it once again in this framework here. A human being wakes up and focuses on the negative. It could be a million things going right, but when that one thing is going wrong, it's like he just focused on it. He can't get his mind. He has a knot in his neck. That's it. The knot in the neck is all he's going to talk about now. A fish, the eyeball's all white. There's no black. The focus is on the good. There's no ayin hara. There's no evil eye on a fish. You know why? Because a fish doesn't see the bad himself. He's hidden there in the water and he only sees the white. He only sees the good. The Rebbe said, I need to get that message. So I eat the eyeball so I could become the type of person that only focuses on all the good. We learned in last week's Parasha, Ve'ata ma Hashem Elokecha shoel me'imach. And now what? The word ma means what? What does Hashem ask from you? Ki im liyira'oto, just to be aware of Hashem, to fear Hashem, ulahava, and to love Him. The rabbis in Masechet Menachot, Daf Mem Gimel Amud Bet, they make a beautiful dirasha. They learn out. They say, don't say the word ma Hashem shoel me'imach. What does Hashem want from you? Take the word ma and make it me'ah, 100. Hashem wants 100 from you. What is 100? They instituted that a person should make 100 blessings a day. In fact, David HaMelech re-energized and reinstituted this after there was a plague in his time where 100 people were dying a day. He said, we got to make 100 blessings a day, and it stopped the plague. What is the understanding of that? The Ben Ish Chai explains it so beautifully. He adds that little extra zest. He says, you know what causes a plague? And you know what the purpose of these berachot are. A person gets sick when he's depressed. We know that. And a plague comes when a person doesn't see the plague of depression also. When you don't see all the good. Make 100 blessings before you eat something, before you do a mitzvah, after you go to the bathroom. Everything you do, blessing, blessing, blessing. What's the purpose? You start to realize, wow, Hashem's doing all these amazing things for me. This is unbelievable. It never ends. And now you become happy, and there's no depression. That's what it's all about. I have a cousin of mine who I have tremendous hakarat tov to. He does so much for me in my life. He basically raised me. And he decided, I can't take it with all the bad news. So he started to collect positive, good news from people. His email address is ranger613@gmail.com. RAYNGR613@gmail.com. And people email him from all over the world. And every week he sends out like a newsletter just listing it all. And you could send it in yourself. Anything that good that happened. Positive news, weddings, miracles, good things that happen to people. Let's change the frame of mind. Why do we have to be stuck in the doldrums? And when we do that, our children connect to that. Our children start to see the good. Our children start to see the beracha. And we'll see all the good in our children come out and their closeness to Hashem and their love of Hashem. Have a beautiful Shabbat Shalom.